If you have a strong soul connection to star Sirius, or to ancient Egypt, or to ancient Egyptian goddess Hathor or Isis, or Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, that entire lineage of High Priestess archetype, you may find this video helpful, and it includes an invitation to an online gathering for this particular energy signature coming together and story sharing. On August 12th, 2025, at 7 p.m. UK time, I'll be hosting the second gathering for my Patreon community, the Super Galactic Center tier. And this time we come together to share stories connected to Star Sirius, Ancient Egypt, or the High Priestess archetype. I know over the years in my community, there are hundreds of individuals that have very strong soul connection to this archetype. And those that are students of my courses and took time to explore their galactic astrology, they found validation of their powerful soul connections, soul activations in that archetype in their natal astrology and through transits of the events that occurred during their potent activation. I picked this particular date, the 12th of August, for this particular energetic signature and for us to come together because planet Venus and Jupiter come together at 14 degrees of Cancer, which is exact conjunct alignment with the star Sirius. Many consider it our spiritual sun. And from my experience, when planet in our solar system aligns in conjunction, in particular with a star that is very potent in our human history, that is deeply encoded in the human DNA, people who were born at a time when star Sirius was either conjunct or in other major or even minor aspect in their natal chart, they'll have a very high possibility of receiving soul activation into remembering their Sirian soul connection. So the 12th of August is very special, not only because Venus Jupiter is conjunct star Sirius, but also asteroids Hathor and Isis are together precisely at 24 degrees of Gemini. They're only 21 minutes, astrological minutes apart, which is rare. They travel individually. They have their own orbits. And the 24th degree of Gemini, when they are conjunct, is the degree of the Orion Belt stars Al-Nilam and Al-Nitak. And both these have very rich history in ancient Egypt, also in connection to Sirius. In my experience with witnessing hundreds of soul stories in connection to Sirius and Orion, the Orion Belt stars in soul records, in natal charts as well of people, they often reveal a story of a starseed envoy, someone who has incarnated on Earth with a very particular purpose and mission to anchor higher consciousness, to anchor higher frequencies of love and wisdom, love and light, in order to support the planetary ascension into higher frequency. Because many human nations that incarnated within the Orion star systems, within the planetary bodies of Orion star systems, have experienced the polarity games for eons. And there are civilizations that realized over the eons of this seemingly never-ending struggle with darkness. They realized that fighting darkness with darkness, fire with fire, doesn't work. It's never ending. And the way out for them was through transcending polarity and literally vibrating themselves higher into higher state of being, to the point where they become non-existent in the lower density where polarity games are taking place. I believe through witnessing hundreds of clients recalling through regression hypnosis the moment when they heard the call of our planetary body, of our solar system, for more light and love to incarnate into physicality, and how they volunteered and how they felt the collective undertaking, the collective mission of seeding more light and love onto the earth to support her planetary ascension through this very particular cycle of her life. I believe that these potent dates, like the 12th of August, and there are many gate points where different starseed signatures are being activated. It's just this magnificent harmonic orchestra that is at play. We each have our own sheet of music. We all resonate with different frequency. And as the planets are moving through the galaxy in that spiraling motion, different tunes, different tempo, different level of intensity is in resonance with our instrument at different times as this magnificent puzzle piece, and we each play our role. So 12th of August is, I believe, the activation tune for Sirian souls. Another thing that caught my attention was that Mercury is at 4 degrees of Leo, and it is precisely 20 degrees ahead of Venus-Jupiter. And Venus-Jupiter is precisely 20 degrees ahead of Isis Hathor. So Sirius is at midpoint between Mercury and Isis Hathor. 20 degrees is a minor aspect. It's 1/18th of a circle. I was curious, what does 18 petal flower look like, to give you an idea of the energetics of this particular configuration. It's a very subtle, refined, energetic. And to me, being High Priestess or embodying High Priestess archetype is exactly that. You're called to remember the lifetimes, not one, but many lifetimes. High Priestess archetype goes from incarnation to incarnation to incarnation to incarnation. We're called to remember the gifts that your soul gathered over lifetimes in terms of the spiritual technology. We don't take the physical stuff with us from one life to another, but we certainly take what we invested into refinement of our soul through cultivating higher virtues, through practicing spiritual technology, mastering it in the physical, whether it's breath work, whether it's deep meditation, astral travel, relocation, fine-tune extrasensory perception, psychic sight, telepathy. When you are developing these, you are taking what you're learning into another incarnation. If you are cultivating higher virtues, study of higher knowledge, higher wisdom, you're taking that into another incarnation. That's why astrology would be one of the sciences too. That's why people who take on astrology very easily, they're remembering the lifetimes of previous study. There are people that don't even need to become attuned to Reiki. They, for the first time, they lay hands on someone. We've had cases of young children doing that. They put their hands on someone and the healing energy starts coming through. It's because they've been doing that in another incarnation. You know, mastering the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies in harmony takes a long time. And I find it fascinating that Isis Hathor conjunction is enhanced by another asteroid goddess, Hygeia, also at 24 degrees of Gemini on 12th of August. And Hygeia is teaching us to master our health routine. So I really do think that many that carry the Sirian connection in their chart, the High Priestess archetype in their soul records, will feel inspired. Whether they hear this video, whether they know about this configuration or not, they'll be naturally, suddenly inspired to take on maybe yoga practice or breath work practice or some type of deep meditation practice. And it'll feel like it's very urgent, like you have to put everything else aside and start committing to strengthening your connection with your spirit, with the divine inside you. Nothing else is more important than that at this time, especially for the Sirian starseeds, Orion starseeds, Pleiadian starseeds, Arcturian, Andromedan, Pegasian, Lyra. We're all here, the whole collective. The stars are walking on this earth. May we remember why we came. May we remember our connection to Source and allow our bodies to be the anchors of highest possible frequencies of universal love, and light, fine-tuning, refining our ability, training our physical body to be able to hold greater and greater quotient of light. This trio in particular, that Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Isis, Hathor, Hygeia, it feels like this configuration is going to allow the sacred wisdom, sacred teachings of spiritual, physical, mental, emotional technology to be spoken about more often. People will come out with what they remember on soul level. Mercury is in Leo. So that is the leading archetype here in this little configuration. And Mercury is also forming mystic rectangle with Mars in Libra on the supergalactic center, Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn, Neptune in Aries, and we also have this grand trine with Uranus in Gemini, Pluto, and Mars. So it's really potent, energetic. Whoever is in Egypt at this time, I'm so happy for you. If you're there in August, it's divinely orchestrated, and you are going to be so activated and so remembering your past lives in ancient Egypt, ancient Atlantis, remembering your devotion to the great goddess and the spiritual technology that was gifted to you by your teachers at the time. You'll remember how to practice it. May you remember how to teach it, and let Mercury, the voice, be awakened going forward, because it's time for humanity to reclaim their divine birthright, to experience their divine human potential, what the Creator originally intended for us to be, allowing divine to walk and live through us, the highest expression of love, highest expression of wisdom, in harmony with nature, not for personal gain, in harmony with nature and for the well-being of all. So good, so potent. So I'm not going to be in Egypt, so I felt inspired to hold this beautiful gathering in a safe space, in a closed community. And I will be absolutely honored to hold space for you to come out with your story, whether it's remembering a past life in connection to anything I just shared, whether it was through regression hypnosis that you maybe have had, a dream, a vivid dream that you've had that had reference to these things. In fact, the first gathering we had on Patreon last week or the week before, the very first story that beautiful lady shared was in connection to Isis Hathor, the activation that occurred while visiting Egypt. And I invited our guest to check her natal chart astrology, because I was sure, based on her story and the many synchronicities throughout her life, that she will have Isis Hathor prominent in her chart. And surprise, surprise, she came back with a message afterwards in the chat inside the Patreon community confirming that yes, Isis, in fact, is conjunct her south node, and asteroid Hathor is conjunct her north node. And few other details in connection to other Egyptian deities. So it's fascinating. If you are connected to on any of these cosmic points, whether stars or ancient history on Earth, it will absolutely 100% be coded in your natal chart. And that's why I'm passionate about teaching galactic astrology and quantum soul guidance modality. And in fact, if you can join us on Patreon, you can submit your story just in writing. If you go to my website, juliabalaz.com, click on the research tab. Currently, I'm collecting data in connection to ancient civilizations, whether it's Lemuria, Atlantis, ancient Egypt. We've had so many submissions already. I'm putting the information together, and hopefully by the end of this year, I will share this fascinating information with a greater collective. So I'm just so blessed to live in these exceptional times and have my brain wired in this particular way, where I feel, sense the harmonics of the celestial spheres, and have had the privilege of hearing hundreds upon hundreds of stories, witnessing people regressing through their past lives, parallel even some future lives, and learning through this life experience how ancient our souls are and how co-creative this experience is. We're in it together, truly. So I'm just honored to be here and share this space with you at this special time. Wherever you may be on the 12th of August, may you be blessed, may you feel supported, may you feel loved, may you feel uniquely special as you are, while feeling the paradox of being both very special and very insignificant at the same time. We are both. Life is magical. Oh, final note. The replay of the group gathering where people share stories will be available indefinitely on my Patreon for the Super Galactic Center tier. And as always, if you struggle to pay your bills, send me an email and I'll get you free pass for the recording afterwards. All right. May be blessed with remembering your divine nature and feeling safe to embody it fully as we go forward. Take care.